What if I told you there was once a being so powerful that even the living tribunal had to take notice? A being who could erase entire realities with a thought. A being who didn't just live in the multiverse, he looked down on it. That being is the Beyonder, and his story begins not with chaos, but with curiosity. Before we dive deep, make sure to subscribe, because what you're about to hear is one of the most mind-bending tales Marvel has ever told. In the beginning, there was the Beyond Realm, a reality completely outside the Marvel multiverse. No time, no space, no life, just existence. And somewhere within that infinite silence, a consciousness stirred. He wasn't born. He simply became aware. That awareness was the Beyonder. He looked beyond his realm and saw something strange. A tiny flicker of movement. Worlds colliding. Lives forming and dying. Heroes and villains locked in an endless struggle. He saw our multiverse. And in that moment, the god from beyond felt something he had never felt before. Curiosity. Imagine you're omnipotent. You've never known limits. Never known death. Never known struggle. Then you find out there's a place where beings fight to survive. Where choices matter. Where power is earned, not given. That fascinated the Beyonder. He wanted to understand this concept called desire. This feeling of wanting something. But he couldn't comprehend it. Not from where he was. So he did something unthinkable. He broke the wall between his realm and ours. In doing so, he unleashed an energy wave that shattered cosmic balance. Celestials trembled. The Watchers took notice. Even eternity, the embodiment of the universe itself, felt his arrival. Because this wasn't just another god. This was a being greater than the sum of all creation. And yet, he wasn't evil. Not yet. He was curious, like a child holding fire, wondering what it could do. So he watched. He observed beings like Dr. Doom, Galactus, and Reed Richards, creatures of power and intellect. And then, something clicked. If he wanted to understand the multiverse, he needed to test it. He wanted to see what made these tiny beings tick. Why they fought. Why they dreamed. Why they cared so much about things that meant nothing to an omnipotent mind. So he decided to play a game. A game that would pit good against evil, hero against villain, for a single purpose, to study desire itself. But before that test began, the Beyonder tried to interact with our reality. And every time he did, the universe shook. One look from him could disintegrate a planet. One thought could rewrite physics. At one point, the Molecule Man, one of Marvel's most dangerous beings, was but a fragment of the Beyonder's own power. And when those two finally met, reality itself nearly collapsed. But that's a story for later. Because before the Beyonder became a threat, he became an observer. He took a piece of space, folded it like paper, and created something entirely new, a Battleworld. A world made from fragments of countless planets. A world built for one thing only, conflict. And then, he spoke. His voice echoed across galaxies, reaching every corner of existence. I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all you desire shall be yours. With that single sentence, he summoned Earth's mightiest heroes and deadliest villains to his new world. The experiment had begun. But what the Beyonder didn't realize was that this test would change him more than anyone else. Because for the first time, a god was about to learn what it means to be human. And humanity, in all its chaos, was about to face something no one could truly comprehend. The secret wars were about to begin. When the light faded, the heroes awoke on a world that wasn't their own. The sky shimmered with fragments of 1,000 different planets. Mountains floated. Oceans twisted into the stars. And above it all, the Beyonder watched. He called it Battleworld. To him, it was a grand experiment. To them, it was survival. On one side stood legends. Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. On the other, the worst of Earth's monsters, Dr. Doom, Magneto, Ultron, Kong, and Galactus himself. The greatest gathering of power the multiverse had ever seen. And yet, they were all just pieces on a board. At first, the heroes tried to reason. Captain America, ever the strategist, wanted unity. But Magneto, suspicious as always, walked away. Even among heroes, trust broke quickly. Meanwhile, the villains were already plotting. Dr. Doom didn't care about the prize. He cared about the power behind it. He wanted the Beyonder himself. As battles raged, Doom watched. He saw how the Beyonder manipulated reality like clay. He saw Galactus try to consume Battleworld itself, only to fail. Even the Devourer of Worlds was powerless against him. That terrified Doom and fascinated him even more. If Galactus could not reach the Beyonder, then Doom would have to do it himself. While the heroes fought endless wars, Doom built something far more dangerous, a plan. He studied Galactus's ship. He learned about the Beyond Realm. He discovered that the Beyonder wasn't infinite, not truly. He was curious, but inexperienced. A god without wisdom. And that was Doom's opening. Meanwhile, the heroes struggled. They fought villains stronger than ever. They faced impossible odds. Spider-Man gained a mysterious new black costume. Something alien, something alive. A gift from the chaos of Battleworld. That suit would one day become Venom. But right now, it was just another mystery in a world built by a god. Each battle drew the Beyonder's attention. He studied how Captain America led through hope, how Wolverine fought through rage, how Doom schemed through arrogance. He saw that desire, that burning need to want something, was the core of mortal existence. He didn't understand it, but he admired it. And then came the moment that changed everything. Dr. Doom did the impossible. He broke into Galactus's ship, stole its cosmic power, and confronted the Beyonder himself. For the first time in history, a mortal stood before the god who created worlds. Doom demanded the power of the Beyond. He wanted to control reality itself. The Beyonder laughed, but that laughter didn't last. Because Doom attacked, he unleashed every particle of stolen cosmic energy. And for a moment, just a moment, he succeeded. He absorbed the Beyonder's essence. He became something more. Dr. Doom became a god. With Beyonder's power, Doom remade himself. He reshaped his face, healed his scars, and stood before the heroes as a divine conqueror. The wars ended instantly. The heroes could do nothing. Reality bent to Doom's will. He could grant life or erase it with a blink. He won, but the Beyonder wasn't gone. Not really. Because that spark, that consciousness from beyond, still existed inside Doom. Watching, learning, waiting. Soon, the cracks began to show. Doom's mind wasn't built to handle infinite awareness. He began to question his own reality. Was he still himself? Or was the Beyonder taking him back? Then came the final twist. The Beyonder escaped from within Doom, tearing free in a blinding storm of power. The energy rippled through galaxies. Stars blinked out, and Battleworld trembled. The god had returned. But something was different this time. He had learned. He had felt. For the first time, the Beyonder knew what it meant to fear. To lose. To want. He had tasted mortality, and he didn't like it. The experiment was over. The lesson complete. But instead of leaving, he looked at the beings below him, the heroes, the villains, the mortals, and realized something that would haunt him forever. With all his infinite power, they were more complete than he would ever be. The secret wars had ended. The heroes returned home. Battleworld was gone. But the Beyonder's curiosity only grew stronger. He had seen what desire could do. Now he wanted to experience it for himself. And that led him to take his next, most dangerous form, to walk among humans as one of them. And that's where things got truly insane. Because when a god tries to live like a man, the universe trembles. When the Beyonder returned after the secret wars, he wasn't satisfied with watching anymore. He had seen what desire did to mortals, how it drove them to fight, love, destroy, and rebuild. Now he wanted to feel it himself. So he took a form. Not divine. Not cosmic. Human. He appeared on Earth, confused, powerful, and completely out of place. Imagine the most omnipotent being in existence, trying to figure out how to open a door. That was the Beyonder. He didn't understand hunger. Didn't understand sleep. Didn't understand why people wanted anything. But he tried. He wore human clothes. Ate food. Even tried to make friends. And the more he experienced life, the more dangerous he became. Because when a god doesn't understand limits, he can destroy reality just by feeling something wrong. At one point, he fell in love. Yes, the Beyonder, the being who could erase universes with a thought, fell in love with a human woman. Her name was Boom Boom, a mutant who barely understood what she was dealing with. To her, he was just an awkward, overly powerful alien. To him, she was everything he had been searching for, a window into human emotion. But love, for a being like him was chaos. Every time she rejected him, mountains exploded. Stars dimmed. Reality bent around his heartbreak. Even the cosmic entities, eternity, death, and the living tribunal began to worry. Because this wasn't just a god out of control. This was existence itself, unraveling under emotion. The Beyonder tried to understand morality. He asked himself, what is good? What is evil? To test it, he resurrected the dead. He gave humans everything they desired: wealth, power, peace. But the result? Chaos. The world tore itself apart. He realized something tragic. Humans didn't know what they wanted. And maybe neither did he. That's when Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, and Owen Reese, the Molecule Man, stepped in. Because if anyone understood the Beyonder's true nature, it was Owen Reese. He had once been a mortal whose powers came from a fragment of the Beyonder's essence. He wasn't just connected to the Beyonder. He was a mirror of what the Beyonder could become. Owen explained the truth. The Beyonder wasn't truly a god. He was a child of power, born from a higher cosmic layer known as the Beyond Realm, a place even the multiverse couldn't contain. He was never meant to exist inside reality. And the longer he stayed, the more unstable everything became. For the first time, the Beyonder felt something no being of his level had ever known: guilt. He realized that his existence, his curiosity, was slowly destroying the universe he admired. So, in a moment of clarity, he made a choice. He gave up his power. He let himself be absorbed back into the Molecule Man, merging with him in an act of self-erasure. And with that, the Beyonder was gone. Or so everyone thought. Years later, Marvel would revisit his story. Writers couldn't leave him behind. He was too mysterious, too impossible to ignore. We learned that the Beyonder wasn't a singular being after all, but part of an entire race, the Beyonders. Each one existed outside the multiverse, observing realities like scientists watching fish in a bowl. And when they finally decided to act again, they ended thousands of universes in the time runs out storyline. Even gods like the living tribunal fell before them. They killed entire pantheons of cosmic entities, and no one could stop them. Not Odin, not eternity, not even infinity. Their ultimate goal? To perform an experiment that would reset all of creation. They destroyed multiverse after multiverse until only one remained: the 616 universe, home to the Avengers. That destruction led directly to the event known as Secret Wars, 2015. A massive collision of worlds orchestrated by Doctor Doom, who had stolen the power of the Beyonders themselves. That's right, the circle came full. From the first Secret Wars to the last, everything was born from the curiosity of one being: the Beyonder. In the end, his story isn't about power. It's about meaning. He had everything: infinite strength, infinite control. And yet, what he wanted most was something no amount of power could create: understanding. That's what makes the Beyonder so haunting. He isn't evil. He isn't good. He's us, magnified to a cosmic scale. A being searching for purpose in a universe that never truly makes sense. So next time someone tells you about the strongest Marvel characters, Thanos, Galactus, the Living Tribunal, just remember, there's one being who existed beyond them all, who watched the entire multiverse like a storybook and still wanted to know what it felt like to be human. That's the Beyonder. The god who started Secret Wars, and maybe the god who will end it all.